Zen Guardian here, and today I'm bringing you guys another one of those discussion style videos. In this video, I want to talk about the recently released Forbes article on character progression and hard resetting moving forward in Destiny 2. Now before we get into the video, if you haven't yet read this article, please do so. I've left a link down below. Go read the article. It should only take you about 3 minutes to read, then return to this video and we can get to discussion. But essentially, the writer of this article is trying to make the argument that all of our character progression in the first iteration of Destiny should be reset in favor of all new content. By all new content, I mean wiping our vaults clean, bringing all of our reputation gains back down to zero, and starting fresh in Destiny 2 with Eyes Up Guardian, as if our 3 years of grinding have essentially meant nothing. Now before I give my take on this, I want to take us back to before Destiny was even released. Bungie claimed that this would be a 10-year experience, not just a 10-year game, but a 10-year experience where everything that we do for the next 10 years of the game will mean something to our Guardians when the franchise ends. Now we all know Destiny is really dry right now, and we're all waiting on the Rise of Iron to be released, but thousands if not millions of people still play this game almost daily, even myself with every exotic in the game, plenty of strange coins for Xur, reputations at rank 100, I still play daily. Why? Because I've been told that everything I do in Destiny will matter going forward for the next 10 years. Why do people stock up on materials or make preparation guides on YouTube for upcoming expansions and content? Because we know that when the new content drops, we'll be able to use those things to our advantage. The main reason we all play right now is because the grind never stops, and no matter what you do in the game, you're working towards that next step. Now I wanted to read you guys a couple paragraphs out of the article where the writer relates Destiny to Dark Souls. In my opinion, these are two completely different experiences, but I guess I can understand where he sees the similarities to make the comparison. He writes, and I quote, "Look, I loved my first Dark Souls character and all the gear I'd found, but I can't imagine starting Dark Souls 2 with all that stuff, let alone a fully leveled character. Sure, From Software could have just made those levels and that stuff meaningless for the sequel, essentially forcing me to get new gear and level up even more, but what would be the point? Why not start new? If there's one thing that Dark Souls teaches players, it's that we have to learn to let go of our attachment to things, even life itself. Prepare to Die, the game intones, because it is a game about Buddhist ideals, about transcending stuff and our attachment to things in order to find true contentment. I think Destiny should be no different. It isn't as though our Destiny characters have any soul, we haven't made any hard choices or even easy choices, or bent our morality meters in one direction or another. This isn't Mass Effect or Dragon Age." End quote. Essentially what he's saying is that because we haven't had to make any narrative related decisions that completely change the tides of the game, that our Guardians really have no purpose. Because the things we do in game don't always have an immediate reaction or consequence or change the overall scope of the game, it doesn't matter. Games like Mass Effect and Dragon Age apparently have more substance because a blurb of subtitles pops up and you choose whether to agree or disagree with a certain NPC, which in turn will change the direction of the story in that game. Maybe it's immediate or maybe a few hours down the line, but it changes. With this, I honestly couldn't disagree more. People make the decision every time they log into Destiny what they'll do, who they'll do it with, what avenues of progression to grind out. Some Guardians identify themselves as hardcore raiders. They make the decision to play the raid every day, day after day, week after week to gain better knowledge of that activity and master the experience. Some make the decision to become Trials of Osiris veterans and master the art of very intimate Crucible gameplay. We also choose which faction to pledge to. I chose New Monarchy, maybe you chose Dead Orbit. Us Guardians make the decision, whether hard or easy, to invest our time in the varied activities we want to get the most out of. Another point I want to make is that it is entirely unknown whether the decisions we make now, regardless of difficulty, will play out in some way later on down the line. How do you know if the fact that I chose New Monarchy doesn't play out in some grand scale in Destiny 5 or Year 7? You don't, and you won't until those games are released. In my opinion, at least with those few paragraphs, the writer of this article was drawing conclusions to things we simply don't know right now. I find it hard to believe that Bungie would want us to throw these millions of hours of playtime down the drain. Destiny isn't Halo or Call of Duty or even Dark Souls. We don't play game 1, beat it, and wait for game 2. I don't think any Guardian was created with the thought that a new Guardian would need to be created in the next 3 years. I know I still actively play this game knowing that my progression will carry over, hopefully for the next 10 years. Now I won't act like everything said here is a bad omen. The idea of a fresh start can be exciting, new classes, new subclasses, new planets and zones. Sure, it all sounds wonderful, but I don't see why we can't have those brand new things to the fullest included with our Guardians' history. Everything else aside, our Guardians do have a soul, because everyone that creates one usually reflects themselves when they do so. Every Guardian is unique and different, all with varied stories on how they got gear or moments of triumph. From the activities they invest their time into or the shaders they equipped, every Guardian is different. So anyways guys, that's gonna bring us to the end of this very long, somewhat controversial video. Now I leave the discussion up to you. Do you think for the next 10 years our Guardians should move along with the game, or do you think we should create a brand new Guardian and reset everything every time Bungie releases an official sequel? This community is one of the most passionate and vocal of any game I've ever been a part of, and now it's time to hear from you. So leave a comment down below with all of your thoughts. If you did enjoy the video, hit it with a thumbs up. It really does help the channel grow. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe on your way out, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. It's been ZG.
I'm out.